Hey everybody, it's Robbie Missouri Worm Supply again. This video has to deal with Zach at Arizona Worm Farms. He talked periodically in between each of the speakers, so we're going to have several hours. I had to break it up into two videos. First video is about 45 minutes long. I'm going to warn you now, if you're offended by dad jokes, worm jokes, don't watch. But I didn't get it in a certain order, so you need to watch the entire thing to get all the information that Mr. Zach is putting out there.
We're so happy you're here. Consider you our family. We're going to kick off, but I just want you to meet three people. Daniel, Francesca, Leslie, and my wife Nancy. These are the folks, if you need anything over the next 2 days, these are the people that can get it done. If you ask me, there's about a 12% chance it'll actually get done. With these guys, it's 100%. They'll take care of whatever you need. So these guys are going to be our tour guides. I want to spend just a couple of minutes getting us started, but then I want you to see the farm. I want you to see what we do, and we're going to go from section to section and show you how we make castings and breed worms and bag and screen. So we'll get hands-on. They'll be our tour guides. But I just wanted you to know they're here to help you in anything that you need for the next couple of days. Okay.
What are those names again?
So they're wearing a name tag. Nancy is don't piss off Nancy.
I'm never pissed off at you.
That happens. Daniel runs our front end and is responsible for all of the sales. Any questions that you have relative to our packaging, to our sales, to our automation, Daniel's the key guy to go to. Francisca runs all of our castings operations and all of our mixing operations. So she is both the brains and the push behind all of the castings that we make. So any question you have relative to castings and any of our production areas, Francisca is the key person. Leslie is our farm manager, and she's responsible for everything that's alive here on the farm except the worms. So when you walk around and you see all these beautiful plants and trees and all the vegetable starts and stuff like that, she's responsible for that. I have her on the agenda tomorrow because she also runs our hugely successful training programs. I'm going to tell you how we get 150 people every single Saturday to come down here and trust us forever and become lifelong customers. And that's Leslie's, she did that. She's made that happen for us. So these are the people that make me look good, and I am confident that they will help you in any way that you've got. The instruction that I give them and they give their teams are to tell you the unvarnished truth. You don't have to be perfect at everything that you do. Off-the-grid farms, where we use sunshine, rainwater, and other people's garbage to feed and clothe and entertain ourselves. That's what I wanted to do. Worms and worm composting became the revenue driver for those objectives. So I have 11 full-time employees and I have a half a dozen part-time and intern employees. You're going to find that's an awful lot of money. We have grown over time. My goal is to keep my payroll costs at 30% of our gross revenue. We're actually a little bit over that right now, but my payroll now is around $700,000 a year, which touches my sphincter quite a bit, because it means that we got to do a lot of stuff right to keep stuff going. When it was $6,000 or $8,000 a month, if something went wrong for a month, it wasn't that terrible. Now it's $35,000, $40,000 a month, and you got to do a lot of stuff right. I'm going to take you through our economics. I'm going to share with you the details of what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you what we sell stuff for and what we make, and I'm happy to answer any question that you want. I want to start with, I don't know if you guys can see this, but when I bought this farm, that's what it looked like. It was a cotton field. It was flatness. We started with the barn and some shade areas. You're seeing the first greenhouse go up. This was the beginning of 2018. Bought this land at the end of 2016. Took me 2017 to get entitlements and permissions and zoning and stuff like that to get started. In 2018 is when we really started the so I have a house, 800 square foot high efficiency sustainable house here, and I have a straw bale house in the food forest. Between the two, I spend 2 or 3 days a week when I can. 29. That's how many miles that our furthest participant has come. Mary Valentine is here from Slovakia. So we have some folks from Canada. We have folks from all across the United States, but 6,029 is that's the furthest. Okay, the next number is 11. We've had
The closest one is 11?
no. We've had
Average IQ.
so this is our 4th conference. Prior to this, we've had 150 people representing about 120 farms or potential farms. 11 of them today have successful, profitable farms. So about 1 in 10 of you. Look around, 8 or 9 people sitting by you. We'll go through today and decide this isn't for me. And I will have saved you lots of time, lots of energy, and lots of money. But we've had 11. So we've had 11 successful farms. Last question: what do you call a Mexican inchworm? An enchilada. So there's a lot more. Take you through the day just real briefly. So I've got very full days for you over the next couple of days. I really want you to get your money's worth. We're going to spend just a couple of minutes here chatting, and then we're going to take you on a tour. You're going to visit the various sites. You'll come back here, and I'll take you through the complete full disclosure economics of this farm. I'll show you what we've done over the last number of years. We'll follow that with what I hope will be the best taco you ever had in your life for lunch. We have experts here. Christy, who's going to just wave real quick. Many of you will have seen her online. Steve Churchill from the Urban Worm is here, and Steve is going to take us through some stuff. We'll talk about our breeding. We'll show you our worm tea process. Dan Rasher is here from Fed and Happy Worms in Missouri, and Dan is going to talk about some large-scale stuff for those of you that are interested in farming and just some very big-scale stuff. We'll follow that this evening. You're invited. We'll have pizza and beer here starting from about 5 until 6 or 6:30. Give us an opportunity to meet and talk with each other. Tomorrow, we're going to talk the business side of how we build our social media connection, and then the business side of running one of these things. It's a challenging part of any agricultural business, but the worm farming is certainly not out of it. And not only do you need to be good at the production side, you got to learn how to grow worms and make castings and brew tea. You also have to run a small business. And so all of the things that come with running a small business apply in this as well. And so we've got some genuine experts in doing that. Tomorrow afternoon is hands-on. So you'll have an opportunity to select 3 different sessions and spend an hour doing the stuff so you'll have an hour to go we'll take you through a breeding process. You'll have an hour to actually feed wedges and harvest and stuff like that. So there's a half a dozen different choices, and we'll have those choices for you posted later. 3 things logistically that I just want to tell you. There's restaurants here and another one in the barn. There's a lot of us here, so feel free to go in between, get up and do what you need to do, because we have 3 or 4 breaks. They tend to get busy. Hopefully not backed up, which is what we're going to say. Busy during those periods. There's 3 dogs on the farm. Bird is our black lab. She is super friendly and would be happy to be pet by any of you. We have 2 Jack Russell Terriers, bacteria and fungi. They are not friendly. Their job here is to hunt rats and mice and stuff like that. They come up to you and they want to be. They'll let you know if they want you to touch them. But if you go after them, they'll snap at you.
Do they bite hard?
They don't bite. We've never had them bite anybody, but we've had them growl at folks. Okay. There's a parable which I will summarize briefly about a guy comes across another guy on a beach, and the beach is covered with starfish, and he sees the other guy picking up the starfish and throwing it back into the ocean. Unless you tell me differently, I will send a contact list out to everyone here with your name and email on it. So I'll send everyone's name and email. If for some reason you don't want me to send your name and email out, I'm happy to remove it. Just let me know. So if I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume you're on the list, and I'll send that out to everyone. Most of us find that useful. It will include Dan and Christy and Steve and our farm as well. Okay. Missouri Worm Farm on YouTube.
Supply.
Missouri Worm Supply.
Yeah.
I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but the gentleman with the best beard in the crowd is, he has taped and put on YouTube the vast majority of these sessions. If you were so fascinated by him the first time and you want to see him again, they're out there and available. So thanks, Robbie, for making that available for us.
Yes.
We will
at that website.
At Missouri, yeah, just go at Missouri. I can't even say it now. Thanks.
Missouri Worm
Supply. Find us on YouTube, and I mean, obviously they're not uploaded yet, but they will be.
So if you go to
If we have
Missouri,
any troubles, we'll get a hold of you and ask.
Yeah.
yeah. So if you go to Missouri, so if you go to YouTube and then search Missouri Worm Supply, you'll see there's a video already up from
I've
the.
seen some of those videos.
So you're welcome to do that. We will have a food truck here starting at 7:30 tomorrow morning, serving breakfast burritos from 7:30 until about 8:30. We're going to try and get started with the formal program around 8:30, 8:45. It's likely to be chilly again tomorrow morning. We'll have the heaters going, but we'll do the best we can. We have historically done something different than we're doing tomorrow morning, but tomorrow morning is I promise, the best plant-based burrito you've ever had in your life. It's a vegan egg burrito. There's no eggs in it, which you won't know. So if you can get up early enough to find your way here, somewhere between 7:30 and 8, I'll have breakfast for you, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy with it. I know you're going to like lunch tomorrow, which is a spectacular barbecue brisket, sliders, and vegan chili. So for those of you that don't eat red meat. The sessions tomorrow morning will go from about 8:30, 8:45 until 11:45. We'll have lunch, and then we have the 3 hands-on sessions. Okay. The last thing, for those of you that drove here, you can't really take this on a plane, but we have, this is our Black Soldier Fly Nutrient Plus. It's our version of fish hydrolysate. I'd love for you to take a gallon. I'll give you a gallon for free if you like. I'd love for you to test it on your plants. I'd love for you to smell it. It's a different smell than fish hydrolysate. It still stinks, but it's a different stink. But if you're someplace where you can try this, we're pretty excited about what this does, and I'd love for you to try it and give us your feedback. If ultimately you figure out that you can sell that, I think, so a gallon bottle of fish hydrolysate this size is somewhere between 30 and 40 bucks. I think I can get this to you any place in the country for $12 a gallon. I think you could sell it for 24. Be below fish hydrolysate and have a product that performs better. If you'd like to try it, I'd love for you to, I'd love to send it home. If you want me to send you one, I'll send it. Shipping is as Steve pointed out earlier, shipping is it's just, they're heavy. And so shipping them in any volume some places is hard. But they're shelf stable, and so I can put it on a truck, and I can send you, a dozen gallons more easily, at a more affordable place. Sending one and sending a case costs about the same amount of money. So that's the challenge. We've got an area set up out here, and I think we're going to set a couple of tables up inside the barn, just in case this wind continues. We have, you are invited if you like. If you're tired and you're sick of us, go home. We'll start again tomorrow morning. If you'd like to hang out, we're going to have some beer and wine and pizzas here for the next hour or hour and a half, and you're welcome to hang out here with us, meet the other folks in here, talk to Steve or Christy or Dan or whoever else you find fascinating. Okay? So with that, thank you very much. Appreciate your attention.
I have this written so that you remember. And don't read it.
I'm going to show you 2 more slides because I'm standing between you and a great taco. This is my evolution. We count, so 2018, we don't really count as our first year. We sold $85,000 worth of stuff. That was just me learning, trying to figure out how to do this. 2019, we doubled. 2020, 21, 2021. Our revenues in 2024 will be $2.4 million. The big chunk of that is in raised bed mix, but I showed you the numbers on each of those things. $200,000 we generated just in classes. Your cost to enter. You've got to get the works, right? There's a small amount of that, but your cost to do classes, your cost to do vegetable starts, is relatively small. I'm going to send you this spreadsheet. This is how much you need to invest. This is just focused on the worm business. The 2 highlighted areas I have not costed for you. You're on your own for that. Really, you got to have a truck. Depending on where you are, that structure could range from 4 posts and a shade screen to insulated barns. There's tremendous variability in that. But if you want to generate $50,000 in revenue selling castings, you need to have about 20 grand to spend on the stuff that you need to do to get ready. If you want to target $200,000 in revenue, you need to spend about $140,000. Plus the truck, plus the structure. So it's not $0. It's not $0. If you want to grow this organically, you can over a period of time. A plan to spend 3 or 4 years just incrementally adding this. And I will tell you that by the time you're done, that's about what you will have spent to get there. Right? So if you need to go to a farmer's market and you need to make $500 to be able to spend $300 on the next set of stuff that you need to do, this is a way to do it over a longer period of time. The near term, those are the investment numbers, and those are the equipment and the stuff that you need to have. I'm going to send you these spreadsheets, and I'm going to send you the contacts to the places where we bought the stuff that we need to buy. Feel free. I'm really, really good with email and text. I'm okay with phone calls just because of the timing on stuff. But if you have a question or an issue, I'm going to send you a very complicated spreadsheet that we use in modeling all of the stuff that we do. So I model every step that you see, we measure, and I'll send you those models. So I can tell you with a high degree of certainty, if you do an 8-foot wedge, what it will cost you to manage that 8-foot wedge. Okay. Yes, sir.
Do you give advice to the marijuana growers?
No.
Who do you send them to?
Away.
Because I got a guy here who moved from Las Vegas, and he doesn't know how to get started. He doesn't know if he's going to get arrested or something.
Right. My experience with the marijuana industry is that a lot of venture capital people lost a whole bunch of money in the boom stages. That they're hard to deal with and not reliable at all in terms of paying. I spent a fair amount of time when it was a boom period here with a whole bunch of people that never became customers.
They all got screwed.
Yeah, they lost their shirts. They didn't do well. But we just stayed away from that. There's a guy in town called the Soil King. Yeah, there's a guy in town called the Soil King that does a better job.
Soil King, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, he's a good guy to send. Okay. Worms. So we're going to talk at length about why we think a bed run bag is a better product for your customers than screened pound of worms. There's a measure of education that goes with that, and that's why one of the reasons why we don't do a lot of shipping of worms into any of your markets. I don't want to sell anybody worms any place except Phoenix, Arizona. But we don't screen and sell a pound. We don't sell a screened pound. We sell you a gallon habitat that contains between 600 and 800 worms, plus babies, plus cocoons, plus all the microbes that you need to be successful. We don't stress the worms, so our customers get a better outcome. I 100% guarantee that every one of my customers will be successful with their worms. I probably have to give people worms 4 or 5 times a year. It's not much more than that. My team, they're not here now, but they'll tell you. You ask them, they'll tell you the truth. Daniel will tell you the truth. It's not a huge number because the process that we go through works. We sell between 100 and 120 of those bags a week out our doors in season. That season is September through April and May. Here we try to stop selling worms in the summertime. Our customers just don't do well with them. They have to be indoors, they have to be air conditioned if you're going to be successful all year round. You can have worms in your garden in Arizona all year round if you start in September, October, November. You get a habitat, they'll find their happy place, they'll be fine all summer long. But if you try to start in June or July, they don't do well. Surprisingly, my cost to produce a bag of worms is about $14, $14.20. Now I'm selling that for $45, so I'm doing fine. But that's what it costs me to have the manual process that you saw and that you'll get to experience. That process is fairly time and labor intensive. You can buy worms wholesale for between $25 and $30 a pound, $22 if you don't mind some glues. I will send you the names of people that sell worms wholesale. I would encourage you to start selling. If you want to be in the worm business, start selling worms. Buy them and sell them. You'll only make $10 or $20 a pound selling it, as opposed to growing it. You lose that cost you an extra 10 or 15 bucks to buy it and bring it in. But start the process of selling it directly as you can. Okay? We produce and sell about 250 gallons of tea a week. We sell that tea for $9 a gallon. It costs me $1 for the container, 25 cents for the label. So it costs me about $30 per tank, and I make 100 to 150 gallons on a Saturday to sell to customers. It is the single most profitable product that we sell. And it's the way you can extend the value of your castings in the very best way. If you're producing, for example,
You're making the tea from the castings, not from the compost.
we use all three products. Daniel's going to show you how we do this. We use castings. The predominant source of microbes is the castings. We also use compost and mulch, all three things that you can do yourselves. We do it in an aeration tank, which we're going to show you. But you can make the one that I have. I bought. It's a fancier one, but you can do these in a garbage can with an aerator for the whole setup for $150. And that will let you make 30 gallons of tea in a batch. And that 30 gallons of tea has a retail value around $250. And you can do that with 1 pound of worm castings and 1 pound of compost.
So what's the shelf life on that?
It's very short.
Yeah.
There are people here that will tell you can suspend those teas and have it be effective over a long period of time. My experience, the activity level of the microbes that I'm looking at will start to decline after 3 or 4 hours. So we tell people to use it, you gotta come get it, you gotta come use it. But when they do, they have huge successes. And so I get people who come down here every week. Every week we sell between 40 and 90 gallons every Saturday. We make it now Friday and Saturday. Through the week, we sell it on a regular basis. We also have this spray rig, which you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. We do a home tea spray. We will bring, that has 250 gallons, so we do 5 houses. So we'll come to your house and spray your home and garden. 50 gallons of tea, $125 we charge for that. And last year we generated $25,000 in revenue on the bottles, the gallons of tea that we sold, $27,000 from the spray. The spray, there's a cost associated with a driver and somebody actually doing that work. But it's this, again, those gallons of tea, that $25,000, that my cost to do that is about $2,500. I'm sorry. Yeah, $2,500. The margins are extraordinary, and it stretches your tea a lot.
How often do you see your spray customers come
back? Again, Daniel will tell you, they call him and ask him why he hasn't contacted them to come back out. We're doing it 3 times a year for most of these places. We're doing it in the spring, just before the summer, and in the fall.
So you're doing a tea or an extract?
No, we're doing a tea, aerated tea. Aerated tea. And I believe that for those of you that are interested in a farmer's market as your predominant source of sales, I believe that if you set up a brewer at the farmer's market, we have battery-powered fans, battery-powered air blowers that just run off a car battery. Where we have set these up, they attract a ton of attention. People won't buy week 1, but they will buy week 2 and week 3 and week 5. And if you have it on a regular basis, you can, again, a 50-gallon trash container, you can brew 40 gallons of tea worth $300. And I have 2, I can give you 2 examples of people that do that on every single Saturday, and they sell it every single Saturday. So they make $1,000 a month just selling tea. Question, sir? Yeah. Well, so what we have done is we brew it here, transfer it into that tank, and then keep aerating it. So we would start the brew process before we got there, or we would continue the brew process while we're there. Because you want a rolling boil, and that just attracts people. Will come over and ask you what you're doing, and that's what you want to do. In other places, if you can attract their attention, you can sell them stuff.
How many ingredients in your tea?
4 or 5. Daniel's going to give you the recipe. I'm going to send you my recipe, and I like my recipe. It's not the best, but it's way above good enough.
I like that way above good enough.
We'll talk about that in detail. Tea is an aerated process. And the aerated process increases the amount of microbes dramatically. An extract draws the count, but doesn't increase the numbers. The counts in an extract are quite similar to the counts in castings. The counts in an aerated tea are dramatically higher. I have one of the people that came to this conference and subsequently went off to do other things is now producing a extract tea bag. So he's selling a tea bag because he's doing it all by mail. He's selling a tea bag that weighs 2 ounces and he sends it in a regular envelope. And he says to people, take this tea bag and put it in a gallon of water and use it to water your plants, and they're having great success with it. But he sells that, he gets $10 for this tea bag. I think it's genius. I love the idea.
I may have to add that to my repertoire.
We sell compost and mulch also. Tomorrow we're going to show you our turning process for those of you that want to see it. But we sell compost and mulch.
It should be nice if in the winter time too. First they can do the house plants. We got one of the big family on the back of the hair things. We do our seeds. So when I water all our seeds, even though they don't need them yet, we use tea for the herbicides, pesticides, genetic type stuff.
They want to buy a successful garden. What they want is a tomato in their backyard. They want potatoes that are spectacular. They want roses that have big, healthy blooms. They want trees that fruit. That's what they want. And so what I started doing is mixing compost, perlite, cocoa coir, and castings, 5% castings, into a mix and selling that mix. And I marked up every single one of those products, and I charged them for doing the mixing, and they were happier to buy that than anything else that we sell. We have a competitor. I hesitate to call him that because it's still tiny. But we have a competitor on the other side of town who's now doing exactly the same thing on a very small scale. So he mixes 2 or 3 yards of raised bed mix every week, and he sells that in paper bags. And it's been quite good. Started growing veggie starts for our own farm, and I found that, so I don't know if I told this story to this group, when I first started this farm, I thought I would have worms for soil fertility, but I was going to use vegetables as my revenue driver for the farm. It was 7 acres, so I was going to use 3 acres for worm stuff and 7 acres to grow vegetables. First crop I put in was watermelon. And I hadn't reached a point yet where I could sell them directly. By the time the watermelon were ready to harvest, the guy was willing to pay me $1.80 a watermelon, and it was going to cost me $2.50 a watermelon to harvest the watermelon. But what I learned was if I grew a watermelon plant in a 2-inch starter, I could get $4 for it. So I was getting more money for the starter than I was getting growing out the whole watermelon. So I started selling starters. We started some classes. I'm going to talk about the classes in a second. But we now sell between 2,000 and 3,000 veggie starts per week at $4 a piece. We sold $200,000 worth of vegetable starts in 2024. Easy money. You need a setup for it, but I'm back to what people want to buy as a successful garden. My starts are better than anybody else's in town. I start them with insect frass, with worm castings, with our seed starter mix. They have a stronger root system. They have that frass contains an enzyme called chitin that tells the plant to grow stronger cell structure from the inside out. The castings increase the quality and quantity of the roots. When they get our plant home, it thrives. And it's not much harder than doing it a different way, but we spend the money and the time and the energy to do that. That's why my cost to produce a start, including the labor, is about 75 cents. But still, 75 cents, I'm selling for 4 months. Yeah. And it's been really successful for us. We conduct 3 to 5 classes a week here. You can't hear me, but the 2 things I'm screaming at you is start selling now, and consider, even if you don't think you're able, consider using classes as a mechanism to bring in customers. If you do a class on how to do worm composting at home, people will come and take that class. I package that class for $75. I include one of our bed run bags of worms, which we value at $45, and a 17-gallon tote, which costs me somewhere between $9 and $11, depending on when it comes. So I'm at $55, plus another $1 or so for materials that we supply, $56. I charge $75 for that. I make $25 for the class, plus I make the profit from selling the worm container. But I can bring 15 people in here every single Saturday and have a class for 15 people and ensure that they will have success with their worm bin at home.
You make them drill their own bin.
Yeah. Yeah, they make it. They make the bin. I mean, it's an adventure. We talk them through why worms do what they want to do. We show them a pregnant worm. We show them what a cocoon looks like. We have a good program. I'm going to send you home my curriculum for all of the classes that we teach. And Leslie's going to come in tomorrow and talk about some of the gardening classes that we teach. But here's the magic of those classes. I have established myself as the trusted expert in their gardening or composting journey. And they come back and buy stuff from me. I show them how hard we work to give them good quality castings, and we do. You saw it. It's not easy, and we're not faking it. It's all here. But I show them that, and I show them why what I do is better than that $16 bag that they can buy from Amazon and have delivered to their house. And they become customers. Most of them become customers forever, for life. Because they will screw up their worm bin every once in a while. When they don't blame me, they'll come buy another one. And they will need more castings than they can produce, and they will buy them from us. And they will want gardening advice, and they'll come back and get it from us. And every 3 months, they're going to need more compost, and they come get it from us. I've established myself as the trusted advisor along their gardening journey. And I take that seriously. I give them good advice. I have people that have become expert in how to do all this stuff, but I promise you can too. I promise you that if you hold a class, you know way more than any of the people in the class know about how to take care of worms, or how to grow plants, or how to use castings. And if you conduct those classes, aside from being quite profitable, you will form a relationship that lets you be have a customer over a long period of time. Yeah, and they ask you stuff, and it's okay to say you don't know, and you'll know the next time. If you are honest with your customers, the quality of your ability to teach gets better and better, and they won't hold it against you if you stumble the first time or 2 or 3. If you say to your customers, I know worms, but I'm learning how to educate, they'll be with you. They'll be on your side. Okay. Yeah.
You do classes year round, exactly.
I do classes year round. I do less. Just to figure out what's going on. My guess is that thing is the problem. Chris, you just holler at me if I'm not talking loud enough.
I can hear you.
Okay. So what we do 4 to 5 classes every single Saturday. Our classes have become more and more popular, but I'm able to bring in between 15 and 30 people per class 4 or 5 times every single Saturday from September through April. I cut back to 1 class at Saturday during the summertime, but we do that in response to the demand. People want to grow stuff. You can grow stuff in Arizona in the summertime if you're careful about what you grow. We don't sell worms in the summertime, but we'll have people come in and do indoor bed classes in the summertime. I can't emphasize to you how important that has been to me to growing our business. I get 100 people, 3 magical things happen. The first and foremost is they learn where I am and that it's not that far. There's a good freeway system in Phoenix, and on Saturday mornings it's wide open. You can get to this far from any place in Phoenix in 30 or 40 minutes. And so if they come down here and they see we're not that far and they can get their castings here, that's step 1. Step 2 is I can explain to them why they ought to be here buying our castings rather than that stuff from someplace else. Why it's worth it to come down here for tea. Why it's worth it to come down here for compost or raised bed mix. The third thing I do is I put them with an expert in growing stuff that convinces them that they can have a garden and that teaches them the approach so that their gardens are successful. If you come down to my farm and you take one of my classes and you buy my products, you will have a successful backyard garden. Usually, like they never had before. And the way we garden, the way we're going to teach everybody to garden, no-till, adding organic material, microbes in the soil, your first crop is your worst crop. Still better than anything you ever had, but it'll get better and better and better over time. And you'll tell your friends. And when you tell your friends, they'll come down here and they'll take a class and they'll go through that same experience. I have just like microbes produce a constant flow of food to your plants, I have a constant flow of new customers to my farm. And I sell retail. The vast majority of my stuff I sell retail, so I keep all the margin.
So you push us to do social media. Are
Yeah.
you doing social media?
Yes.
Or is that your social media?
Yes, both. We're going to talk first. Tomorrow morning I'm going to introduce you to my social media secret weapon. And one of the things she's going to tell you is that your story is more interesting than anything else you can take. That sharing yourself on social media produces the result that you're going to want to have. I'm going to tell you something else. My social media is your social media. Use it. Take it, borrow it. The success that I have in worm castings is exactly the same success that you can deliver to your customers. If I put a picture of a 2-pound tomato that came from somebody who used compost and castings, feel free to copy that, put it out under your name. I absolutely don't care. I want to sell castings in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm not coming to Slovakia, I promise. And I'm not coming to Tucson.
I don't want to ship him 5 pounds of bedding. You're going, not 5 pounds, 5-gallon containers. I'm going, that's just too much grief.
Right. I want you, when you see a great worm post, it applies to you. There's nothing unique about my product. That's the wonderful thing about us being here together. We are all doing what is good for all of us. And so when we see these things, copy them, use them. That's your social media. You see a post that I did that I like, then repost it under your own name. You have my blanket permission. You don't have to say this is from the Arizona Worm Farm. This is from Old Tom's Wormery. Do it that way, because the result is exactly the same. When I show you the benefits that we got at Arizona State University, that's the benefit of worm castings. It's not sex, Cassie. I'm not pooping that stuff.
I've been coming here for 2 years. I took every class that he offers, and I am totally against education here. All I do is work, and we literally are always trying to figure out how we get into his classes. And then if you do his warm tea class, you walk away and you're like, how the hell did we end up with all this shit for $75? Like, he's giving you like so much stuff, and but you know, you don't think about, well,